I'm gonna talk a little bit today about the Avengers movie. I know I'm like a week or so late to the game, and as you can see, I'm wearing my Black Panther shirt. Woo, 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 woo. But my husband and I went to go see Avengers Endgame the night that it came out. We went to the first showing of it, which was like 6 o'clock that Thursday, and so we bought our tickets way in advance. We had reserve seating. We went to the Look Theater, Look Cinemas. I don't know. I live in Texas, so I don't know if that's something that's popular anywhere else or if they have stadiums anywhere else. But it's kind of like studio movie grill, which I don't know if they have that anywhere else too either. But yeah, so it's where you order food while you're watching the movie. So we went there, we watched it. It was 3 hours long if you don't know. And before I get into the movie, this is a spoiler, like, heads up. If you haven't seen the movie, which I mean, it's been 2 weeks now. If you haven't seen the movie, you need to get out of here because I'm about to spoil it for you, okay? All right. My first impressions of the movie is that I loved it. I am a huge Marvel fan. I'm not really a huge... since the movies have been coming out, I've started to become an Avengers fan, but my big Marvel team was the X-Men. Like, that's what I grew up loving. That's what I grew up watching on the animated series in the early 90s. I just love the X-Men. So the Avengers was, when they started these films, 11 years ago? It was kind of new for me. I mean, I knew the main characters, Iron Man, the Hulk, Thor. I knew a little bit about each one of them, but I didn't know a lot about them. So I found out a lot in the past 10 to 12 years, reading up on it and watching all the movies. I thought it was a good conclusion of all of the films. So I have seen all of the films except Iron Man 3 and both of the Ant-Mans. I haven't seen either one of those. All the other films I have seen. I went to go see Captain Marvel a couple months ago. Wasn't really that impressed with that. So I was very eager to see how all the movies are going to play into the Endgame. And I was very pleased. I think they wrapped it up really well. I know a lot of people didn't like the pacing of it. I like the pacing of it. That's always a complaint I hear about a lot of these new movies, the pacing. And just to be honest with y'all, like, I don't expect movies to just be fast from the time that you walk into the film. Like, all this stuff is going on. You know, they have to build up. I was, however, very shocked that they went with the 5 years later thing. I didn't think that was going to happen. That was shocking to me. In the beginning of the film, we see Hawkeye. Based off of, I watched one of the trailers and I didn't watch any more because I didn't want anything to kind of, you know, infiltrate my mind or spoil anything for me. And so I knew Hawkeye was going to play a part in the film. I didn't know how significant of a part that he was going to play, and he was pretty significant. That was the other thing that I noticed. Everybody in the film who got a lot of screen time had importance. You know, they focused a lot on the Hulk, and he was the one who brought everyone back with the snap. Then we have Ant-Man. He's the one who came out of the quantum physics realm or something like that. Quantum something. And he was instrumental in the time travel. He's the one who figured that out and was very instrumental in that. We had Scarlet. I always want to call her Scarlet Witch, but she's Black Widow in the film. I think it's because her real name is Scarlet. Black Widow, who gave her life for the Soul Stone. And then we have Hawkeye, who retrieved the Soul Stone and kind of was very instrumental in the gauntlet when that, you know, he was running around with the gauntlet and making sure it didn't get into Thanos' hands. Ultimately, it did, but we saw that Iron Man... That whole scene, because I'm all over the place, y'all. I'm just telling you, I'm a little all over the place, so just bear with me. That whole scene when Thanos was about to do the snap and Iron Man, like, grabbed his hand and then all the stones went into his hand. What the hell happened there? Like, what the hell happened there? I've seen the film twice already, and I still can't quite figure out what happened there. How did he get all the stones in his hand? And obviously, Iron Man's part in the film is he does the second snap of the film and kills all Thanos' people when, you know, kills Thanos and all his people the second time around, because Thanos dies in the beginning of the film at the hands of Thor. So we have two deaths of Thanos. The second one was final, And we know Tony Stark was the one who delivered that, so he's the one who finalized that. We have, who else? Thor, who killed Thanos the first time. The second time, what was his most important part? When we got 5 years later. I'm struggling a little bit there because I thought I had an important part of the film for him. Y'all leave a comment down below, or I'll stick it in the subtitle or something. After I've thought about it, because I thought I had that in my head, but I didn't. Captain America. We know that, his importance in the film is that he is very instrumental in the whole process of going back in time. He gets, which stone? The Tesseract. Him and Iron Man got the Tesseract, and then the blue stone. When the Soul Stone? What was the purple one? They went back in time to the 70s to get it. I'm struggling, y'all. My memory ain't as good as it used to be. And that's his importance in the film. And then we see at the end of the film, he goes back and lives his life. So he is no longer Captain America. Sam Falcon is now Captain America, which I believe it plays like that in the comics as well. Cap's part in the film was, he was very instrumental. I think, especially at the end scene, he wields, I don't know how to say the damn hammer's name. The hammer that Thor has, that's my favorite part of the film. That is still my favorite part of the film, when Thanos is kicking Thor's ass, Fat Thor, which a lot of people didn't like Fat Thor. I thought it was very realistic that Thor was fat and drinking heavily, considering he has lost everything he's ever loved. I know people didn't like, and they wanted him to be like Muscle Man Thor, but I thought it was completely realistic, and I liked what the Russo brothers did with that. My favorite part of the film was when Captain America was able to wield the hammer, and when he's fighting Thanos, and I love that part. I loved it. I was in the movie theater wanting to yell this is cool. He does that in the comics, but I really didn't think we would see that, because we saw a little bit of that in Age of Ultron, where Captain America is trying to grab the hammer and it shakes a little bit, and we see Thor kind of oh shit, he's gonna move the hammer and then he doesn't. So I thought that was really cool, and I guess at this point Captain America is more worthy because he's been through a lot more, because we already know that you have to be worthy enough to wield the hammer. That was one of the things that Thor did when he went back in time. He brought the hammer back. So who else? The Hulk, Hawkeye. I think I covered everyone. If I forgot somebody that's in those main 6, then I'll have to whatever. But yeah, that was my favorite part of the film. I'm curious to see what everybody else's favorite part of the film is. Did I get emotional? I know a lot of people got emotional during the film. The part that I got the most emotional was when Tony Stark died, and I really didn't expect me to get emotional when he died, because I saw it coming. I already knew he was gonna die. They've been teasing that for the past 6 or 7 films now. We can go back to the first Avengers back in 2012, when he was fake dead at the end of that. Since it started with him, it was gonna end with him, starting back in 2008 with the Iron Man film and how the Avengers assembled and all that. I just had a feeling he was gonna die. Most of us knew that. I didn't even, the whole Peter Parker thing, Spider-Man, I think that was over. Everyone kind of was over the top last year in Infinity War when he died in that scene, and I really wasn't moved by that part. The part that really got me, and I was shocked at myself, was when Pepper Potts was talking to him, and she was talking about, we're gonna be okay. It's okay, you can let go. That part really choked me up. And I don't know if it's because, being a mother and a wife, you just kind of feel that. But it made me really emotional. I was my eyes was watering a little bit, and I'm like, what the hell? The part where Cap was, Thanos was kicking Cap's ass, and we can see the deep cut in Cap's arm, and his shield is cracked, and then we see all of Thanos's people come in, and you only see Cap there because Thor is down for the count, and so is Iron Man, and then we see those golden circles come from the sky, and then we see T'Challa, Shuri, and Okoye come out. Man, when they came out of that circle, I was like, yo. Black Panther, I mean, it's something about Black Panther and that whole Wakanda thing. They just had a presence. They walked up in there like, okay, we finna set this bitch off. We finna set it off, okay? We got you, bruh. We got you. That was a very, like, emotional moment. That you see everybody come out. You see the Hulk, you see everyone that died, you see Spider-Man, Peter Quill, you see all the Guardians of the Galaxy, you see Doctor Strange. I mean, what's Hope from Ant-Man? We see everybody coming out the woodworks like, okay, we all here. What's up? And you kind of see Thanos like, oh shit, I wasn't expecting this. That was really cool. That was another part of the film that really just kind of was like, wow. Some funny parts of the film. Obviously, the obvious funny parts were, I think when Ant-Man said that Captain America's ass looked great, and that's America's ass. I thought that was really funny. And I typically don't think corny jokes are funny, but I thought it was really funny. I laughed in the movie theater, that ongoing joke, because, yeah, it is America's ass. Iron Man's kind of quips throughout the film. He called Ant-Man Thumbelina and Pissant, and, he just had little names for Ant-Man, and he was just his normal self, just kind of witty. I thought that Bruce Banner as the Hulk was just adorable. I think him being in the green suit the entire film was completely something that I expected to a certain degree. I didn't expect him to be the Hulk the entire film. I think there was a part when he was talking to the Ancient One where he was in Bruce Banner human form. That was somewhat to be expected, seeing as though in Infinity War we didn't get to see him be Hulk but one time at the beginning of the film, and he allegedly that the Hulk was scared. Captain Marvel. I want to mention Captain Marvel. I feel like Captain Marvel, again, underwhelmed me. Just like her movie did. I really think she's a cool character. I felt like she was underwhelming, and I get the reason why they used her the way they did, because they didn't want to make it seem so one-sided. Or, because obviously, her interaction with Thanos, she's just as powerful. Probably more powerful than Thanos. The only thing that saved him was him plopping that stone out and clocking her with the stone. Otherwise, she was bending his fingers back. Like, she is stronger than Thanos. So I take back what I said. Probably she is stronger than Thanos. And so I think that was the part. And then when he headbutted her, I felt like they did that to show us that she is stronger than Thanos. And the fact that he used a cheat code and hit her with the stone kind of proved that she's more powerful. And so I feel like she was underutilized, but I get why. Still find her to be a little bit boring. Thought her haircut was kind of cool. Again, I like when she comes on screen. It's just she doesn't really bring anything like enough to make me whatever. She saved Captain America. I was about to say Captain Stark. She saved Iron Man at the beginning of the film, which I totally saw that coming when we saw the end of Captain Marvel. When she was, floating around in space, I figured she would be the one to save Iron Man and Nebula. Nebula played an instrumental part in the film, and she really gave us the opportunity to get to know that character. So those are some of the highlights from the film. Those are kind of my thoughts. I thought it was a great way to wrap up the whole Thanos Infinity War story. I know there's going to be more movies because Marvel's making too much money. They've already hit a couple $1 billion as me making this film, and it hasn't even been out 2 weeks yet. So Marvel isn't going to stop anytime soon. DC, take notes, because y'all have the 3 biggest superheroes, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, and y'all have not been able to even sneeze at some of the success that Marvel has done. Great actors and great movies. Not all of them are great, y'all, but for the most part, those movies are pretty impressive. So DC needs to take notes. I didn't see Shazam, or I haven't seen Aquaman either. So And I'm actually a huge comic book fan. Those movies just haven't really compelled me to see them. I'll see them eventually. Anyway, that is my 2 cents, my review of Avengers. Let me know your comments below. Give me a